and welcome. This is Amhara Media Corporation English Service and you're watching our daily updates. I'm Gaila Damu. Stay tuned. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs said modernizing the feeding system of the people is the determinant factor to create productive, competent, vibrant and nation-loving citizens. In his opening speech on the survey study on food and nutrition strategy, AMECO said the government is working on prioritizing citizen-centered issues, especially for the needy people living in the country. He further stated the survey study on the accessibility of balanced diet will have great significance to the people. He said ensuring balanced diet of the citizens is not luxury for the government. So far, the government is working on ensuring enduring peace, ending conflict and reduce cost of living, which are becoming grand challenges in the nation. AMECO added that the government is working to protect illegal movements, which are worsening cost of living of the people. The Deputy Prime Minister remarked that drought and global issues are becoming great impacts to the nation and its people. The World Bank reiterated that it will work closely with the government of Ethiopia and International Monetary Fund to support the economic stabilization efforts in Ethiopia. Fikra Dizaudu tells us more.
The World Bank Vice President for Eastern and Southern Africa, Victoria Kwakwa, is in Ethiopia for an official working visit. The Vice President started her two-day visit by paying a courtesy call to Finance Minister Ahmed Shide on Wednesday. During the occasion, the two officials discussed various issues of mutual interest, including development priorities and on how to strengthen the bank's partnership with Ethiopia. The minister thanked Kwakwa for the World Bank's continued support to Ethiopia, especially in delivering much-needed financing in addressing the impacts of overlapping shocks over the last 3 years. He also highlighted some of the government's priorities in recovery and rebuilding and developmental efforts in the areas of human capital, food security, infrastructure connectivity, economic stability, and creating jobs for the youth. The minister also reaffirmed the government of Ethiopia's commitment in deepening the homegrown economic reform agenda in rebalancing the role of state to give much space to the private sector for job creation and sustainable growth. Kwakwa commended Ethiopia's resilience in dealing with multiple shocks and government's commitment to economic reform to promote a private sector-led development. She also reiterated the World Bank's commitment to assist Ethiopia in policy areas to improve on ease of doing business and productivity in Ethiopia. The Vice President reiterated that the bank will work closely with the government and IMF to support the economic stabilization effort of the government. This is Kwakwa's first official visit to Ethiopia since she assumed her position in July 2022. The Vice President's visit underscores the World Bank's strong commitment to Ethiopia as a long-standing development partner. During her visit, the Vice President will also meet with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, the Governor of the National Bank of Ethiopia, members of the private sector, and some ministers.
Chief Government Whip Tesfaye Beljige said removal of TPLF from terror list will speed up implementation of peace reached between the federal government and TPLF group. Abeba Burhani has the details.
The Ethiopian House of People's Representatives delisted TPLF from the terror list with a majority vote, 61 against and 5 abstentions. The position reached by the government to remove the designation of TPLF from terror list was presented to members of the House by Chief Government Whip Tesfaye Beljige. According to him, the Pretoria Peace Agreement is about making lasting peace in the country and the Ethiopian people have come out of the atmosphere of war. Tesfaye stated that the peace agreement has begun to bear fruit in many ways, including the significant role it has played in improving Ethiopia's image and diplomatic efforts at the international level. The chief whip stressed that it is therefore crucial to remove TPLF from the terror list in order to fully implement the peace agreement. He noted this decision will not only help to bring lasting peace in the country and resolve differences in a civilized manner, but it will also help to support the efforts of the National Dialogue Commission. Following the presentation, members of the House raised various questions and concerns in removing TPLF from the terror list. Responding to the queries, Redwan Hussein, National Security Advisor to the Prime Minister, said it is necessary to remove the designation of TPLF from terrorist because it is part of the peace agreement. He added that as Tigray region is part of the country, the people of Tigray should have seats in the House and decide equally on the affairs of their country so that citizens can get the services they deserve. Justice Minister Gideon Timotheus said on his part that removing TPLF from the terror list is important for the full implementation of the peace agreement that can be achieved. He stated that there is still work to be done to create a viable environment and fully implement the peace agreement, adding that it is therefore necessary to remove the TPLF from the terror list. Noting that various activities have been intensified to restore services in the region, the minister said a lot of work is needed to fully restore services in the region, provide budget and get students back to school. Gideon added that issues of legal responsibility will be seen in the process of transitional justice that has started.
State Minister of Finance Emerita Sawasau said that the government is committed to support and encourage textile investment activities in Ethiopia. Fukradi Zaudu has more.
This was disclosed during a discussion she held with the CEO and Managing Director of Kanaroya Africa Textiles PLC, Ashish Agarawal. During the occasion, the State Minister reaffirmed commitment of the government's support and encourage investment activities in Ethiopia, in particular such companies that are engaged in exports and employ youth and women. Both sides agreed to jointly work to attract more investment to Ethiopia and to work for more access to various markets. Kanaroya Africa Textiles PLC was established in 2012 and the building work started by mid of 2013. It was officially inaugurated in October 2015 and started its commercial operation in April 2016. The company was established with an investment of $52 million with the lion's share of funding from the Export-Import Bank of India and investors. It is located at Keta Industrial Zone around Bishoftu southeast on Addis Ababa Adama Expressway. The company is employing around 1,200 employees, providing free food and transport. The major raw material of the company is cotton, which involves thousands of farmers across the country, and some raw materials like dye stuff, chemicals, and stretch yarn are imported. Kanaroya Africa Textiles is exporting denim fabric to various countries across the globe and to many local garment manufacturing companies across the country, which involves thousands of workforces. The company is an anchor industry by creating the highest possible value chain from cotton farm to the garment retails and plays a vital role in the country's socio-economic development.
Sri Minister appreciates Bahar Dar City administration for its special attention given to the investment sector. The Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia Industry Minister Melaku Alabel has appreciated Bahar Dar City administration for giving special encouraging attention to the investment sector. The minister and higher regional government officials have paid a working visit to various industries in the city. Unison Food Oil Processing, Ravel Metals Factory owned by Indian investors, and Gadefa Metals or AMECO Car Repair and Spare Parts Factory are among the industries visited by the minister and the regional government officials. Industry Minister Melaku Alabel has also visited the new modern bridge over the Abai River, which is coming to the phase of its completion. Melaku has witnessed from what he has seen during his visit and from the feedback he has obtained from the investors that Bahar Dar City administration is a role model for other cities in providing a special focus to the investment sector. It is announced that the construction of the road from Get Ermengarde Square to Zagi Junction in Bahar Dar City will ease the traffic congestion. Abebe Burhani tells us more.
It is explained that the construction of the road in the city of Bahar Dar from Get Ermengarde Square to Zagi intersection will alleviate traffic congestion problem. The road from Get Ermengarde to Zagi intersection that covers 1.74 km is being constructed at a cost of 270 million per budget. the budget for the construction of the road is fully covered by the Ethiopian Road Administration. Contractor of the road, Engineer Tizazu Tlahun, stated that a Chinese organization called CCC has taken the contract to build the road and undertake all the construction process. Engineer Tizazu explained that the road, which is giving service now, is very narrow and is difficult for both vehicles and pedestrians, adding that when the construction of the road is fully completed, it will alleviate traffic congestion problem. Explaining that the road is directly connected to the airport, Engineer Tizazu stated that the road will build the image of the city of Bahar Dar when completed. A resident of the area, Mekwananti Yasu, explained that as the road was very narrow, they were in difficulties to move freely and vehicles and pedestrians used to push one another when they move. However, the beginning of the construction of the road is very important to solve the problem. He also added that the construction of the road will alleviate the traffic congestion problem caused by the narrowness of the road. As to the explanation of the contractor of the road, it has been 2 months since the construction process has started. He added that the construction process is expected to be completed in line with its schedule of 8 months. Engineer Tizazu also stated that the construction of the road takes pedestrian road, drainage and tree planting areas into consideration. Engineer Tizazu also explained that the excavation and soil filling activities of the construction process has reached more than 70% and the road will have 36.4 meter width when completed.
In North Wallo, what is called Warke, there are 2 qabalet in that area. The regional government, led by His Excellency Dr. Yilikan, we officially launched the rehabilitation program there. We selected that area because 234 houses were totally destroyed.
In a census study conducted by universities in Amhara region, women and children were adversely affected by the war. What empirical evidence do you have to support this claim?
You cannot empirically list down those psychological and humanitarian aspects.
What have you accomplished in this regard so far?
They have been working on research to publish this book.
But first, you are telling me that you have this 5 years strategy.
Yeah.
5 years is a very, very long time for people out there may not have enough to eat this week.
Immediate issues, livelihood issues, life-saving issues, emergency responses is so named rehabilitation. That's what I mean it. The first 1 year.
What it takes to revive particularly the health sector?
11.4 million were displaced. Look, 11 point, I'm not talking about few figures.
What has been the response of key actors in the rehabilitation and reconstruction tasks so far?
It is sluggish, I can say that. It remains on the paper, it is not descended down to the ground.
Not on the things that you can't, but on the things that you can do.
We'll push them, we'll knock at the doors of those NGOs time and again until they become human.
Do you believe the federal government give enough attention and resources from the available resources to this region, considering the kind of devastation that the region has incurred in the past few years?
I don't believe that. There are gaps.
Do you think it is underreported, undercovered by powerful news organizations like the New York Times or Washington Post or whatever that powerful decision makers rely on for their information?
It's not the information that matters. It's not the data that matters. The interest matters.
You're watching Amhara Media Corporation English Service, and now let's proceed to News Beyond Borders. United Nations alerts for potential cholera outbreak after Cyclone Freddy. The World Health Organization's Regional Director for Africa has alerted for the increased risk of cholera following the devastation caused by Cyclone Freddy, particularly in Malawi, Madagascar, and Mozambique. In southern Malawi, the cyclone killed almost 500 people and displaced thousands. More than 300 health facilities, including university hospital centers, have been destroyed or flooded in Madagascar, Malawi, and Mozambique. WHO Regional Director for Africa, Dr. Moeti, said the extensive damage, flooding, and torrential rains have affected more than 1.4 million people in the three countries and stretched the limit of the capacity of health systems. Malawi was already battling its deadliest cholera outbreak on record when the storm landed. The epidemic has killed more than 1,700 people. According to the United Nations, over 1 million people have also been affected in Madagascar and Mozambique, with more than 160,000 people internally displaced. Sudanese engineer is looking for investors in robots. Since his childhood, he dreamt of making robots, but now he needs investment to take his efforts to the next level. In his modest workshop, Jibril combines what he learned at the university with practical engineering knowledge to create robots from scrap materials and other parts, both cheaply on the internet. The idea of making robots is a childhood dream that came to my mind through cartoons. After watching many cartoons about inventors, I started making robots 9 years ago. I am working hard to make this dream come true, said Mutamin Jibril. The young engineer said he needs to work harder now and find investor support for a robot that can be used in environments such as hospitals and restaurants.
In North Wallo, what is called Warke, there are two kabalet in that area. The regional government, led by His Excellency Dr. Yilikan, we officially launched the rehabilitation program there. We selected that area because 234 houses were totally destroyed.
In a census study conducted by universities in Amhara region, women and children were adversely affected by the war. What empirical evidence do you have to support this claim?
You cannot empirically list down those psychological and humanitarian aspects.
What have you accomplished in this regard so far?
They have been working on research to publish this book.
But first, you are telling me that you have this 5 years strategy.
Yeah.
5 years is a very, very long time for people out there may not have enough to eat this week.
Immediate issues, livelihood issues, life-saving issues, emergency responses is so named rehabilitation. That's what I mean it. The first 1 year.
What it takes to revive particularly the health sector?
11.4 million were displaced. Look, 11 point, I'm not talking about few figures.
What has been the response of key actors in the rehabilitation and reconstruction tasks so far?
It is sluggish, I can say that. It remains on the paper, it is not descended down to the ground.
Not on the things that you can't, but on the things that you can do.
We'll push them, we'll knock at the doors of those NGOs time and again until they become human.
Do you believe the federal government give enough attention and resources from the available resources to this region, considering the kind of devastation that the region has incurred in the past 2 years?
I don't believe that. There are gaps.
Do you think it is underreported, undercovered by powerful news organizations like the New York Times or Washington Post or whatever, that powerful decision makers rely on for their information?
It's not the information that matters. It's not the data that matters. The interest matters.
That's all the news we have for today. I'm Gaila Damu. Thanks for watching and stay tuned with the rest of our programs.